say I don't want to fight Mexican because I represent Mexico.
I feel like Canelo's a fucking pussy.
Canelo doesn't jab anymore. He looked for one shot now. You know, I mean, the end is there for Canelo.
David Benavidez has one message for Canelo Alvarez: stop running. After Crawford exposed Canelo, Benavidez is ready to finish what boxing fans have waited years to see. David Benavidez, the undefeated Mexican monster, has made no mistake about his ambitions.
Feared fighter in boxing. Ever see Julio Cesar Chavez in his prime? I'm talking about the daddy. I'm talking about one of the greatest fighters ever. This guy is the closest thing I have seen to a big Julio Cesar Chavez. David, I'm not putting the Chavez thing on you. I'm just saying, yeah, you're the closest thing I've seen to a big dude who fights like that. Oh, Canelo's ducking him. This dude's a monster. And I looked and I thought, am I right or wrong about that?
Oh, you're definitely right. You know, you're looking at a man that's not going to let anything outside the ring, you know, mess with his game. But like I said, at the end of the day, I'm not scared of nothing. You know, I accept and I invite war. You know, so if that's what the people of Riyadh, Saudi Arabia want to see, well, let's give it to them. I think everybody is starting to see that I'm fearless, I'm relentless, and I'll fight anybody to get my respect.
After watching Canelo Alvarez lose to Terence Crawford, Benavidez became outspoken and direct, pushing hard for a fight, and even accusing Canelo of being scared. For years, one name has haunted Canelo Alvarez, a challenge he has avoided repeatedly.
He was talking about how he didn't want to give David Benavidez the fight because he was being disrespectful.
When you look at the history of Canelo, all the fighters that was disrespectful, calling them out, and he fought all of them. But I just think from a Mexican standpoint, one being extra disrespectful towards the other, he took the sport out of it, and he just felt as if he wasn't going to give Benavidez.
Now Benavidez is ready to settle the score and claim the throne. Following Canelo's devastating loss to Terence Crawford, that shadow is impossible to ignore. Just weeks ago, the boxing world was shocked when Crawford, the undisputed welterweight champion, moved up to weight classes and delivered a dominant performance that exposed Canelo's weaknesses. Trainers like Ronnie Shields even suggested that Canelo's peak might already be behind him.
Crawford, by unanimous decision, he got that. You know, I just thought Crawford was too fast for Canelo. Too many combinations. Canelo doesn't jab anymore. He looked for one shot now. You know, I mean, the end is there for Canelo.
While Oscar De La Hoya broke down Canelo's mistakes in detail, this wasn't just another loss, it was a turning point. In an exclusive interview with Inside the Ring, David Benavidez praised Crawford's achievement. He said Crawford deserves a place on boxing's Mount Rushmore for jumping 3 weight classes to become undisputed super middleweight champion. Not only is he a great fighter, Benavidez said, but you could see how much of a dog he is. Other fighters can learn from that heart.
First of all, I just want to give Terence Crawford a great congratulations. You know, he's reached a part in history that only so many fighters get to even accomplish in boxing. You know, he's one of the greatest of all time. There's nothing, you can't take that away from him. Terence Crawford should be on the Mount Rushmore in boxing because not only did he go up 3 weight classes, he beat one of the best fighters of this generation. I don't remember any time in history where anybody has come up from 147 pounds and won the super middleweight championship. Not only just won, but the undisputed. He's won every single title. So, you know, man, that man, not only is he a great fighter, but you could tell in that fight by seeing this combination right now how much of a dog he is. You know what I mean? I think a lot of fighters could take a lot of notes from Terence Crawford, not only physically, but take notes in the heart aspect. And I give it all up to Terence Crawford. You know, he's one of the greatest of all time. And, you know, we salute Terence Crawford.
But long before Crawford's shocking victory, David Benavidez had already been hunting Canelo Boxing's ghost at super middleweight.
WBC belts right here. I'm the best in the division. If they want to give me an opportunity now or later, I'm gonna keep winning. You know, like I said, I'm gonna be the greatest of my generation by the time I'm done. And my job is not complete until I make that happen. For Canelo and everybody else, it just shows everybody I'm not f***ing around. I'm here to stay. I just look at the facts. You know, the people want to see this fight more than Carlos Adames and Charlo. You know, that's why that fight hasn't happened. But for me and Canelo, we have motion. You know what I mean? I've been winning the fights I'm supposed to win in fantastic fashion. He has nobody else to fight. You know what I mean? So if they want to give it to me now, later, whenever.
For years, Benavidez, a 2-time WBC champion with a perfect record of 30 wins and 25 knockouts, held the interim title and posed the most direct threat to Canelo's dominance.
I don't
really like to bash somebody because at the end of the day, I give respect to Canelo. He's a great fighter.
Yeah.
He's one of the best Mexican fighters of all time.
But wanting to fight him, David, is not bashing him.
Yeah.
That's not bashing him.
But that's what I'm saying. They spin the narrative on Instagram.
Right.
If I say something, they say this or that. But I only want what I earned.
Right.
And I'm entitled to it. From what the WBC told me, they say you win a title limiter, we'll give you a title shot. You win the WBC interim title, we'll give you a title shot. I've been in this position for 3 years. So just because Canelo, he could do what he wants, as he says,
right,
he's not going to fight the top competition. And he's holding all those belts hostage, bro. And it's not like you got other great fighters too. You got me and David Morrell's there.
Yeah.
How is it fair that these sanctioning bodies let him pick and choose who he wants to fight? And then the Canelo fans too that be talking shit, bro. Like, do you guys not want to see the best fights?
Right.
Like, I don't understand. I'm just trying to make the best fights happen. And that's it. At the end of the day, I just want to get the fans what they want to see.
Yeah.
This wasn't just talk. Reports surfaced of a staggering $70 million offer made to Canelo for a fight with Benavidez. Benavidez himself confirmed he was guaranteed $5 million if the bout happened.
Nobody, I've heard everybody that's been in front of me, and Canelo's no different. And I will hurt him too, and I'll take all his belts. It's crazy that he asked for $150 million or $200 million to fight me, but he still has the nerve to say that I don't bring nothing to the table. So if I didn't bring nothing to the table, why are you asking for more money than you won in your whole career if I don't mean anything? Maybe after he gets that money, he could buy himself a pair of balls. What I wanted to tell you guys too, I mean, this guy, he's making the most money out of everybody. He's charging you guys so much for the pay-per-views. It's like he's spitting in your guys' face, saying that he doesn't give a f what you guys want. He's not going to give you the best fights. He's going to fight the fights that he wants. In my opinion, that's a little bit disrespectful to the fans, but he has cult-like fans that, you know, they don't tell him shit and they're happy with whatever he does. But at the end of the day, if you hold all the titles, you got to fight the best in the division. I'm number one in the division, number one contender. The second one is David Morrell. He's not fighting me, nor he's not fighting David Morrell. So it makes no sense. How is he going to call himself the champion and have all these belts if he doesn't fight the number one or the number two guys? He's asking $200 million. Why, when they bring my name up with him, that's the most money he's going to make. When he fought Amir Khan, he outweighed him by like 25 pounds. But, you know, I think it's just he's running out of excuses and running out of things to say, but that's just how it is. I guess that's when you win.
But after Benavidez agreed, the negotiations went silent. No response, no deal. And this wasn't coming from an unproven contender. Benavidez had already proven himself. He demolished Caleb Plant in a bitter grudge match, and then destroyed the previously unbeaten Demetrius Andrade.
We'll both got Canelo, Benavidez. If they fought, which I don't think they're gonna fight no time soon, who you think will win?
Man, that's hard to say. I think both have pros and cons. You know, I feel like the things that Canelo does better than David. There's things that David does better than Canelo. In a way, I'm not comparing it to this fight, but it's like the better be of Bivol fight. You can say who you think's gonna win. You can't say like, oh man, I'm surprised the Bivol won, or I'm surprised the better be of won. You're like, man, that's a damn good fight. So-and-so won. So kind of how I feel about the David and Canelo fight, like who had the best camp, who has the best game plan, who slept the best the night before.
And it's not much that separates guys at that level.
If David can get on him with his combinations and not give him room to breathe, then, you know, that's probably a night that David gets his hand raised. You know, if Canelo is able to slow the pace down a little bit and catch him with a big shot. David's been dropped before from an off-balance shot. He wasn't really hurt, but, you know, would you be surprised if Canelo stopped him? You know, you'd be, no. So
forcing his corner to stop the fight. Reflecting on his journey, Benavidez said, "Since I was 3 years old, I've had one dream: to become the greatest boxer of all time. That's exactly what I plan to accomplish. That ambition," he explained, "is what drives him to chase the biggest names." What happened next only added fuel to the fire. Canelo's silence ignited Benavidez's anger. In the same interview, he didn't hold back.
You're looking at the one that's gonna chase all of them. Like, these guys are monsters, but this is the monsters world.
If Canelo was 100% confident in himself, I don't know why he wouldn't fight me. Especially since, you know, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which including him, so he never got off.
You think
steroids.
he's on steroids?
Of course. How does five?
You saw De La Hoya.
How do five people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids?
Right.
You know what I mean? No, all those fucking dudes in that camp are dirty.
Call for David Benavidez once this fight is done. Is that a fight that you can see happening before the end of your career?
Look, I never say no to anything. We'll see later. but I'm focused 100% on this fight.
Is there a possibility, or you just go one at a time and you also speak with your team?
Yeah, I go one at a time, but you know, it's a possibility always.
Right.
But I've been in this position my whole life. One was Dustin Throne in 2012, 11. Then Mayweather, then Lara, then Cotto, then Callum Smith, then Golovkin, and then if I beat Benavidez, it's gonna be other guy there they want me to fight. So I've been in this position my whole life, but you know, is that time when that fight they ask, I give it to them. But right now in this position I am, now is the time I need to ask. Right? If the money is right,
He's definitely scared of me, Benavidez said. If someone talks trash to you, why not make an example of him? Beat me in the ring, prove yourself, and make millions. But he won't do it. Benavidez compared Canelo's struggles against strong fighters like Bivol, saying, he sees things in me he can't stop me speed, my strength, my heart. Fighting another great fighter doesn't scare me, it makes me better. Now at his peak. Benavidez believes Canelo missed his chance. If he could have beaten me, it would have been back then. Now he has no chance. This was more than trash talk, it was a declaration. But the story has layers. Weight classes complicate the rivalry, as Benavidez recently moved into light heavyweight. Asked if he could still make 168 pounds. Benavidez admitted he lost interest. That's Crawford's division now. I'm more comfortable at 175.
Presence he's definitely scared of me. You know, if you have a fighter talking so much trash in front of you, why don't you make an example of him to the world? Beat me in the ring and make a whole lot of money. But Canelo Alvarez, as you can see from every time he fights a guy that's big with power, like Bivol, you know what I mean? And he's not able to suppress these fighters as much as he's able to suppress the little fighters. You know what I mean? So he sees a lot of things in me that he can't stop. You know, not only does he see speed, does he see power, but he sees a lot of heart in me. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm going in there and I'm proving I want to prove myself to the world that I'm the greatest fighter. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't scare me to get in there with another great fighter, because I know that elevates me and who I am. As I should have took the fight with me way back then, because if he had a chance to beat me, it would have been back then. He has no chance of beating me now, especially now. I'm getting all this confidence. You know, I'm stepping into my prime. You know, I'm able to deal with these bigger shows better. You know what I mean? I'm able to thrive in these shows. I'm able to, every time I fight, I'm always winning by a significant amount. You know what I mean? So I'm learning my craft better and better each and every single fight. I'm gaining more confidence every single fight. And like I said, I really want to go in there and hurt people. I'm not a boxer. I'm a warrior.
Chasing Beterbiev, Bivol, and the bigger names. This move disrupted the Canelo narrative, suggesting Benavidez might outgrow the division where Canelo holds all the belts. Meanwhile, Crawford's trainer Brian Bomac McIntyre quickly dismissed any chance of Crawford versus Benavidez, saying, "We're not interested." That leaves Canelo with fewer excuses and fans demanding the one fight that could define his legacy. So that's it for today's video. If you loved it, remember to like, subscribe, and ring the bell symbol so you don't miss any future videos. Don't forget to leave your comments in the comment area. Stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next.